Okay, so the agenda is going to be, look, where the current status is. This is a Purley BID perspective view of the current status. It's then have a look at what support we can provide businesses, what support we've got the community, and then what communication channels we should be using.
No.
So quickly on to the next slide. With regards to the BID, quite clearly, the BID's functions are essentially going to stop for the sole purpose of just supporting the businesses within the town. There's going to be loads of different things that we can either represent you by, speak to within the council, or try and push down some barriers. So we'll be here speaking with you guys as much as possible when you're having issues trying to get the grants and loans, etc., trying to create communication channels between ourselves, and then also with the local community as to what time services are on, what time people can get deliveries from, etc. For the BID, yeah, we've stopped here. Food festival and all the other projects going on. I'm going to save that, as I said, for supporting the businesses and also for a relaunch when we get through to the other side of it, whether we have a big street party, whether we have a massive online campaign, whether we have a leaflet distribution, just something to say, look, we're back and going when we're on the other side of it. With regards to supporting the businesses, we've got various different functions that we can provide from this. And I'm going to ask Emma from Barclays to have a speak in a second. But I just want to go through this slide here. So we want to try, look, everyone's going to go through this several times, and it's going to cause there's going to be some hurdles that we're going to get through. So if we can share between ourselves what the problems are, and there might be differences between estate agents getting funding as opposed to other areas getting funding. So retail is going to be slightly different from estate agents, slightly different from pubs on how you get the fundings and grants. So rather than everyone go through the whole process again and falling over the same hurdles, we'll be here to support people on getting through that and saying what issues other people had. We can speak with the council about the grants and the loans and the payment breaks. Obviously, this is a very fluid thing that was just announced last week, and the processes aren't in place at the moment. But as and when they will come, I'll go into a little bit more detail about how we're going to access it and how we're going to get that support.
Sorry, Simon.
Can we go on to mute, please, if possible? Hello. All, if we're able to go on to mute, everyone. Actually, I think I can do it from this end here. So
I think, is that Jan Foscard?
It's Jan, yes, speaking.
Oh, Jan, hi. Could you put it on mute? That's
I'm just going to mute all.
No problem.
Okay, so sorry, bear with me 1 second. Okay, and so we got various different information that we can share from the council. Obviously, there's other bits from the World Health Organization. These are bits you can get from any area, but particularly from the council, we've created a special section on the website that covers whether it's general information, whether it's information from Purley, whether it's a community, or whether it's from Croydon Council, etc. And so we don't want to be blasting everything out, but if you want to have a one-stop shop of where to get some information from, there's a bit on the Purley BID website where it's got these links, and particularly pertinent to ourselves is going to be the stuff to do with Purley and Croydon Council and who to speak to and what the contact numbers are within the Croydon Council. Purley BID is also a representative on the Croydon Council Task Force. So if you've got any issues in particular that you need to raise direct to the economic section, go straight to them. There's a website, email address to go to them, but also come to us as well if you need support and you're not getting the right contact with the right people. I know they've got a lot more people on board at the moment. I know they've got a new telephone line that's going to be opening either today or tomorrow. I think it should be today. And if not, it's again on our website, emailing economicdevelopment@croydon.gov.uk. And they have promised me that they will respond to every email as quickly as possible. And we're just here just to make sure that you guys use these facilities. The grants that are available, because this is so quickly announced and no process in place and no funding in place, what's happening is that the council is going to reimburse every business with, I think it's a £10,000 grant straight away, as long as they've got your BACS details. Now, the thing is, this is going to cost the council £58 million, which they don't currently have at the moment. So as soon as the government have given them this money, they will automatically send it out to all the businesses. Our issue is that if we don't know when they're going to do this, we don't know whether we've received it or not. And so we'll be liaising with the council and letting you know when those payments should have gone out. And so you can then go and check the bank accounts. And if it hasn't happened, contact us and contact the council about how to get those payments. Again, so we're also, as mentioned, on the Croydon Council Task Force. Much like Purley BID, I think they've got the same attitude to start off with, is let's get the communication channels going properly first of all. There's 100 communication channels, there's thousands of bits of information, and we're all going to get drowned with it if we don't make it as clear as possible. So we as a BID have not gone out and thrown out loads of information. Our number one thing is go to the website. There's 4 sections on the website. Go to the website, that's where the information is going to be. If you have any issues with that, then it's either contacting support@purleybid.co.uk, economic development @croydongov.uk, or you can give Purley BID a call. And if I'll put this onto the website as well, and that's on 020 375 3493. And so those are 3 bits if you want to come in and contact us for any support. We'll also be sharing Purley business updates, so what the current status is and who's doing deliveries. I know it's probably going to be restricted almost down to Purley Tesco's, I think, at the moment. But as this process changes and the restrictions are relaxed, we've got a new page coming up onto the website today that's going to give a one-stop view on what businesses are open, what businesses are doing deliveries, what businesses are doing home visits, etc. So if you go onto the website as well, there's immediately pops up this pop-up window that asks you to do a survey. If you complete that information, it will give us the information about your business. So it will tell us what hours you're open, if you're doing home deliveries, and what things you're putting in place over this period. I suspect it's kind of like going to settle down for the next 3 weeks as everyone's in lockdown. But if you can provide us with as much information, we will carry on to the wider community, because we've got a very big social following with Purley BID, to let businesses know the status of, or residents know the status of your business. Okay, next looking at the community and beyond. So obviously we need to tie in with other organisations around us. So we've got the Rotary, residents associations, the churches, and various other societies. Now, in times of trouble, this is when the best and deepest relationships and long-lasting relationships actually form. So we got to make sure that as a group, as a community, as an area, that we really do support each other. So again, Purley BID is working as a conduit with the Rotary and the resident associations and the churches to make sure that everyone supports each other when we come out the other side, that we are shopping locally, we're supporting our neighbours with deliveries. Some of the elderly might not be able to get online and use your Tesco delivery slot. So it's how we're going to support people with that. Actually, sorry, I've just jumped ahead a bit too much. I was thinking we've got Emma Baker here from, Emma Carpenter here from Barclays, and she's got a little update on the Barclays Emergency Loan Fund. So Emma, if you're able to come off mute and talk to people. Are you able to come off mute?
I think so. I think.
Oh, yes, excellent. Sorry.
You can hear me. Great.
Sorry,
I can't get my video working.
Okay.
I can't get the video working, but that's not such a bad thing.
No problem.
So, there we go. Yeah, thank you, Simon. Obviously, we're absolutely inundated at the moment as business managers, as you can imagine, and I should actually be on annual leave at the moment, but I'm not, for obvious reasons as well. So there's a couple of things that the banks, and I will speak sort of generically about the banks, not just Barclays, so that the banks are able to assist their clients with. So a lot of the banks where you've got loans that are over 25,000, you are able to ask for capital repayment holidays on those. So that means that you will only pay interest for the period of capital repayment holidays. So that's normally 6 to 12 months, depending on what you think your business needs are going to be during this time. And again, you know, your banks will ask you for some information. So as standard on all of our lending requests, we are asking for financial accounts up to the end of December, because that gives us a good sort of point to look at profitability and also affordability. Because if you go into a capital repayment holiday, at the end of that period, your normal loan repayments will increase to take into account that your loan is still going to finish on the original maturity date. So as a responsible lender, we need to make sure that you can still afford those payments. The second and probably the biggest thing that's come out this week, we have been literally on back-to-back conference calls since yesterday with the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme, or for short called CBILS. That got launched by all of the banks yesterday. It is fluid, it is forever changing, and the criteria is changing quite rapidly. So, you know, as I say, I was on a conference call literally just before jumping onto this one, just trying to upskill and find out what's changed, what's not changed, and where we are. So, as I say, I can only tell you what I've got at the moment, and I would hope that all of the other high street banks that are offering this as well is the same. It is a loan, and it is a bank loan, okay? It's not a government grant, so it will need repaying. The government will only step in if the business owners, partners, sole traders, directors, or the company fails, and we can't recoup the funds that are lent from the business or the business owners. And at that point, then the government will step in and repay up to 80% of the outstanding amount. So the business owners, if you take one of these CBILS loans, you are still 100% liable for the repayment of that loan. So I'll give you some figures and some facts that I've got so far. So the purpose of the loan is to fund ongoing expenses, overheads and creditor payments over the next 3 to 6 months for businesses directly impacted by COVID-19. So we're having a lot of talk around whether we can do business as usual lending or whether it's a CBILS loan. So again, we're still a little bit muddy on that one, but it is, if your business is directly impacted, and I would look at those businesses that have had to close their doors, particularly, so you are directly impacted by COVID-19, then a CBILS loan may well be right for you. The amounts that we can lend are up to 5 million, but they start at 25,000. And the way that we determine the amount that should be lent out to a client is based on either 25% of annual turnover or 2 times the annual salary bill. So that gives you some ideas as to, if you are looking at applying for one of these CBILS loans, where you should be looking and what sort of amounts that you may or may need or not need. The term is 1 to 6 years, and that is your repayment term. Simon, if you're jotting it down, don't worry, I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
So, so 1 to 6 years repayment. The first 12 months of the CBILS loan is at a 0% fixed rate. Okay, at the end of that 12-month period, you can then opt for either a variable rate or a fixed rate loan for the remainder of the term. And again, in the first 12 months, you can also opt to have either a 6 or a 12-month capital repayment holiday. So you can either do it fixed 0% and you still pay a figure every month, or you can opt to pay nothing for 6 or 12 months, no interest for 12 months, and then the repayment of the loan is then calculated over the remaining term. So if you took 100,000 over 6 years, you paid no capital repayments for the first 12 months, no interest for the first 12 months, then your £100,000 loan payment would then be calculated over 5 years, because that would be the remaining term. Okay. There are no arrangement fees for the loan, so many banks will charge a lending fee on their loans. There is no arrangement fees for the loan, and there are no fees for taking any security. Okay, and I'll just cover security. So this is how we kind of guarantee that the loans are repaid from the business owners to the point. So loans of 25,000 to 100,000 are secured by personal guarantees from all active directors, or if it's a limited company or an LLP. And then if you're a sole trader or a partnership, then you are personally liable. Okay. Loans of 100,000 to 250, again for limited companies and limited liability partnerships, are personal guarantees from the active directors or active partners and a debenture from the company. And again, if you're a sole trader or partnership, you are still personally liable for the full amount. And then loans over 250,000, again for limited companies and limited liability partnerships, are personal guarantees from all active directors and partners, a debenture from the company, and tangible security if it's available. So tangible security in banking terms is a charge over an asset. So sometimes it might be a second charge over personal property. It could be a charge over business premises. So those are what we normally deem as tangible security. Now, if they're not available, then that's fine. You would still apply. You would still be able to apply for a CBILS loan, because that is still backed by the government 80% guarantee. Okay. And as I said, just to stress that, as if you apply for a CBILS loan as a business owner or director, you are still 100% liable for the loan. The government will only step in and repay what's outstanding of the loan up to 80% if the banks cannot recoup the debt in full from the business owners or the business itself. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that
Did
does.
you mute me, Simon?
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to unmute me. Yes, no, I think that makes sense. And you said you'll forward the info over to us, and again, we'll put that on the BID site as well.
Yeah, I'll also forward out the sort of things that we're asking customers to supply us, because it's not a given. We still need to do affordability checks. So we do have to look at financials and to see that, you know, if the business was making a profit at the end of 2019, we've still got to assess that at the end of this pandemic and business interruption, that there is still a business that will be viable. So again, there will be some clients across all of the banks that this will not be able to help.
No, thanks. And one last question. I assume that, look, if you're a Barclays customer, they come to you guys, and you said this was relevant to all the banks. They're operating a similar type of model.
Yeah, please don't all call me though, because I'm inundated. we have a COVID-19 support line. Obviously, if you're already banking with Barclays and you've got a relationship manager, then obviously call the relationship manager that you deal with. If you've got your mobile banking, then use the direct call feature and use the call us. They will put you through to the right manager or the right management team. So all of our teams, including, you know, all of our relationship managers, all of our business direct team, are all being upskilled as we speak at this point. So yes, so as much as I'd like to help everybody, I am literally inundated myself at the moment. So more than happy to answer a few questions. So has anyone got any questions now, Simon? Is that okay if I ask?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, go on then. Are there any questions?
Yeah, anyone?
Just unmute and ask. Okay, if not, look, as Emma will be inundated, if you send them through to support at Purley BID, or give us a call, and then we can put them together with a Q&A to Emma and get some answers back, rather than 50 people asking the same question.
I'll do my best. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that. Michael.
Simon, sorry, are you okay if I jump off?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for that.
No, you're welcome. Thank you, guys, and good luck. Stay safe. Thank you.
You too. Michael, sorry, just I haven't actually asked you before this meeting, but I was just wondering, as you're kind of like one of the key businesses in town that is still open and operating, would you be able to give a quick update on Tesco's and how you're operating at the moment?
Yeah, of course I can, Simon. Afternoon, everyone. Michael, currently duty manager here in Purley. Just so you guys are aware, all the information is correct at this point. It is, as I say, constantly changing. Currently, the store is operating 6 till 10 on a daily basis. We are getting fairly regular deliveries in. Obviously, the distribution centres are under a lot of pressure, so some of that is being delayed, but we are getting gear in. We're obviously doing you will have seen a massive recruiting in store at the moment. We've had to put a temporary pause on that just to try and get trying to catch up with it. 'Cause obviously, one of the things the system can't keep up with the number of people we're doing on it, but we are still planning on recruiting. Our .com operation is still going. I believe we're still operating click and collect, although that's it's fairly restricted at the moment because obviously there's not a lot of gear in the store for us to put out. And our .com centre in Crawley that supplies us with our home deliveries is obviously under a lot of pressure in terms of bodies as well. But the system is catching up. We envisage sort of this week, if it stays a bit calmer like today, it's been quite calm. If it stays like this, we envisage being able to catch up fairly rapidly. And obviously we are sort of getting business updates fairly daily. So obviously as we get them, we'll feed them back to you guys in case of any hours changing. Obviously for vulnerable people, we are currently running vulnerable hours on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. I believe that's 8 until 9. And obviously if there's any other changes with that, we'll let you know. We did the NHS hour on Sunday. Unfortunately, I wasn't in. I'm hearing sort of mixed things as to how successful that was. I know we had a lot of people coming to start. And obviously then we have our regular customers, but at the moment that's sort of what we've got sort of Tesco wise. Most of the systems should be catching up, say within the next week or so, we hope.
Okay, I'm assuming that it's 8 till 9 a.m.
8 till 9 a.m. Yeah, sorry, should have said that.
Okay, and what other restrictions do you have with regards to numbers coming in, etc.?
So this morning we implemented sort of 100 people in the building at a time. We sort of moved it to 120. The key thing is as I say, that will remain fluid as long as we can implement social distancing within store. There is distancing markers down at the checkouts. For those who've been in, you'll have seen at the desks, there is a metre distance away from the guys on the tills. And obviously, as I say, that will change depending on the number of people we see coming in. If we need to, we have extra guarding in to try and implement that and to keep the flow steady and controlled so that we can still keep everyone safe in store.
Excellent. And Michael, if I can ask you just to keep us updated with as these things change. So again, we'll put it on the website and also we'll share that socially as to what the status of Tesco's is for people.
Absolutely. We'll keep you guys in the loop. As I say, it's all still very, very fluid. Any changes we'll feed to you guys direct.
Excellent. Anything else? Is that it?
No, just, yeah, thank you very much, guys. Yeah.
Okay. Cheers then. Likewise, for anybody else, if you do have questions for any business, Barclays, Tesco, or whatever, obviously to save them getting a big influx, we can manage these and send these off and have an FAQ onto the website to share for everyone. Actually, just jumping back to Michael, do you have a special page on a status update on your site?
I believe it's just a general, if you go to tesco.com, there is just a general update for Tesco's as a whole. Last I checked, our opening hours had been updated. But as I say, if that suddenly changes, you might find that they are. So I know last night we sort of restricted entry after Boris's announcement because we did see a bit of a spike. So website for general information, for sort of more local information, look, we'll try and get it to you as soon as we know it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Okay, and so going back to the businesses at the moment, because obviously the country's on a lockdown and there's some dispute as to the technical terminology of what essential businesses are, as we've heard that Sports Direct class themselves as essential. We've got to work this out with regards to all the other food retailers in the area and whether restaurants are allowed to deliver because they're providing food services. And again, with the loans, etc., it's getting the clarity on what retail and who's available for the certain loans, etc. So do get in contact with us and look at the website because we'll have those bits of information. Just almost wrapping up, we're in a bit of a good situation that we're kind of like 2 weeks behind the curve. So we will be seeing how Europe responds to this, and then we can look at how we're going to open up the town accordingly with that. And we're going to look at how we're going to promote Purley afterwards, but I guess that's nothing to really talk about at the moment. One thing we are looking at is the communication channels. Now, one thing we do have is we have too many bits of information coming out. Our number one point is we're looking at the website. That's going to be the main channel where we're going to be sharing information. We do have our bid engagement manager, Catherine, who's on the line at the moment, who's been doing a fantastic job speaking to businesses, popping around. We monitor a lot of the information, store it. We've got all those bits that I mentioned on the screen. For those on the phone call, it doesn't help much, but WhatsApp, emails, newsletters, we'll try and have a consistent message, but the main consistent message is go to our website for the latest updates that is relevant to Purley. If you have any issues and you can't get through to council, we've got a direct channel to the council to help support the businesses. And that's about it. The final bit we're going to talk about is how we're going to relaunch afterward, but I think that's too early to talk to. So going back there, I don't know if anyone's got any questions at the moment.
Hi, it's Hannah calling from Uma Gym. So I'm stepping in because
hi there, Hannah.
Hi, got a million phone calls and stuff going on. Question I wanted to ask about cause I was been listening in and out of this about the you said the council will contact you guys, or no, you will contact us or give us an update of when the grants or anything will be put out and so on, and if they've got the correct information. Will you be doing another Zoom call to update us all on that, or will it just come via email or anything? Or like, how would we, I mean, I'm assuming they have got out everyone's correct information, but how do they feed back to us if they haven't, or that type of thing?
Okay, one thing, I don't think we can assume they've got all the correct information on this, because there's going to be certain businesses that are below the threshold that are still eligible for the grant. So we will be putting onto our website when the council inform us that that money has gone out. So again, we are looking for people to have a look at the website. We will also send out a newsletter at that point to whatever contacts we've got with people to say, look, this is our understanding. Again, we might not have everyone's email address to send a newsletter out, but we'll try and do an outbound call as much as possible. If we think it's a good idea to have a weekly Zoom meeting, we're more than happy to have that. And maybe we pull in all the questions in the meantime to say, look, okay, what are our concerns, and just address those on a weekly basis.
I think it might be quite useful, especially like, obviously we closed on Friday, but then as other business progress, like as to what they're doing and so on.
Yeah, and things are going to change, and I guess in 3 weeks' time when we can go out, I mean, Uma Gym might be able to have sessions out at the Rotary Field or something like that, and that'd be great to get people out and talking to people
we
face
obviously
to face again.
everything as of Friday, and then we're just having like daily updates and conference calls with our staff and so on, but we've switched everything to online, so it's all like into homes. But I think maybe it would be useful to update because everything's changing daily, isn't it? So
it is, and rather than doing dailies, so if we schedule same time every Tuesday, we'll have this Zoom bit. We're also asking that when you do go on the site, there is this survey link. Fill in that information, let us know. There's only kind of like 2 of us on the bid. We've got 180 businesses that we need to get information from. It would really help if you could let us know, tell us what's going on, and then it's easy for us to share out to we've got a couple of 2,000 or 3,000 people that follow us on social, so we can let them know at a wider bit. It would be really helpful if people do let us know first of all, and then we can tell the rest of the Purley population about it.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
If it's all right.
Okay,
Are
Natalie.
any of the grants available for charities, or is it businesses only?
Very good question. I mean, Emma's off at the moment. This is, as far as I understand, the grants are for businesses with rates that are ratepayers, and so charities are ratepayers.
Yeah.
But then again, they also have definitions of what retail is and entertainment and etc. But I'm speaking with Croydon Council tomorrow. I'll try and call them today, but I'll ask them about charities.
Yeah, please.
So this is with regards to the grant, yeah?
Yeah. Well, so essentially, it's a £10,000, and is that to cover your grant? So it's like a rebate for a grant rather than on top of not having to pay your rates.
I'm not going to say anything until I've got it confirmed off, but I'll ask the question. I think it is a grant to support you through this time.
Yeah, the way I've read it on the Gov website is that it's a grant on top of, obviously they're giving the business rate relief, but it's a grant on top of other thing, because if you've still got leases, rents, everything to pay on top of that, your bills and so on.
So it's an overheads grant, really.
Yeah. That's what I kind of took from it. But obviously, it's only a small section on the Gov website at the moment. They'll be obviously updating it as and when. But yeah, that would be good to check.
But yeah, when I speak to the council, I'll ask them about that, because I know the definition of businesses and what they are, that they can, devil's in the detail, as they say on these things.
Yeah.
Again, and as soon as I know, I'll put that up onto the website.
Thanks, Simon. That's great.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, great. Right. Okay. So it looks like we'll reschedule this again for next Tuesday. I know things will be very fluid between now and then. We'll update this, the website, and from the website, we'll update social to keep people informed. We can only do the stuff if you send us the information first of all. So please keep us informed, and then we can support you and get everyone else informed. If you have any issues, or if you go through these grant processes, whether it's a good experience or bad experience, let us know so that we can either help you or encourage other people to go and do the same process to get the grants, the loans, etc. Okay, in the meantime, look, keep safe, everyone. This is, yeah, troubling, unprecedented times. But yeah, first and foremost, just keep safe, and we'll speak to you next Tuesday. Okay,
Thanks,
all the best.
Simon.
Cheers there. Ta.
Thanks.
Bye.